Hi engagement fans, welcome back to the Engagement Studio. I'm Ann Maltese and I lead our insights team here at Quantum Workplace. And today I have Nicole Davies from Valet Living joining me. Hi Nicole.
Hi Ann.
Thanks for being here.
Of course.
So last time we talked about how more frequent one-on-one conversations in Valet Living really benefit the organization, managers, and employees. Today, we're going to dive a little bit deeper and talk about how we actually implement that approach. So let's start by just what would be the first advice you would share in an organization that's thinking this way?
Sure. So I can talk a little bit about what the process looked like at Valet Living. And for us, step number one was really to start the foundation with a great business case. So one of the things that I did was just hear from the associates directly, what were some of the pain points in the business? We all know, we all hear, performance is painful, the performance review process is painful, but I wanted to hear what exactly about it didn't meet our needs. And then I really tried to look for some themes. So what I was hearing is it felt clunky, it wasn't dynamic, it was asking folks to look back over the course of an entire year and gosh, how much do we grow as humans in the course of a year? It was a formulaic process where folks felt beholden to a set of numbers. And so I was able to use all of that feedback from our associates to really go to our executive team, not only with the case for a more nimble process, but a process that was going to address some of those employee concerns and really speak to the heart of what they were looking for, which was a dynamic conversation with their leaders that was focused on the future rather than the past.
Great. So really collecting that employee feedback, knowing kind of what you want to fix, if you will, or what you want to make better about the process.
Exactly. And then, of course, wrapping around that, what all of our executive team wants to hear, which is the return on investment. What's the win for us in moving towards this model, right? And there was only upside as we started to think about the ability for associates to have clear direction that could be modified in micro increments over the course of an entire year, giving people that chance to not let a problem fester or to not let a topic go unaddressed because we haven't put folks in a position to be able to have those comfortable conversations. And so it was a very easy sell for our executive team to make the move towards something much more dynamic.
That's great. I love that you did that homework because I think sometimes leaders hear change and it's hard to go through change. So taking that approach really makes a lot of sense. Any last tips or any last steps maybe that you used at Valet Living?
Sure. So once we had the buy-in on the heart side of the process, so why did we need to make this change? Why was it important to our organization to think differently about performance enablement? The next was the what and the how, right? What were we going to do and how were we going to do it? And so I think my last bit of advice would be to have folks really spend time being thoughtful about the process. I think folks in their head think, gosh, if we're going to this being either a monthly or a quarterly process, it doesn't require the same type of structure or support that we need to think through if we're only going to do it one time a year. And I would argue, gosh, be more thoughtful. Let's really think about those questions. What are the right questions to be asking at the right time in the business? Is it the same set of questions that all associates need to answer, or is there a slightly different way that we want to structure the process for our different types of associates to really make the most out of the experience? And then train the heck out of those leaders. We believe that our leaders, just by giving them that title of manager or whatever title that they may have, automatically equips them to be great performance coaches, but we know otherwise. So giving them that language, that opportunity to kind of take themselves out of the driver's seat and put the focus on the associate, to allow that associate to be driving the conversation, that associate to be thinking about what's important for him or her and for the organization, can take a little bit of a switching of perspective and of language. And so train them again around what it takes to really be effective when it comes to being a performance coach walking alongside your associate. And then once you find those great coaches, having them tell their story to others. It was super important to us that this feel like it's something that comes from a groundswell of interest from our associates. And so we found 5 or 6 or 7 really capable, dynamic leaders and their associates that were having wonderful success success with the process, and we were able to have them share their stories with others. So it took some of the scariness away. It took some of the feeling that this was just a process that was being imposed upon them away, and made it more human, and really allowed us to be much more successful in the rollout of our one-on-one campaign.
Wow, there's a lot of great advice chalked into all of that. So thank you so much for sharing your experience at Valet Living. And I think there's a lot of tips there for you all as well. So with that said, we have information on how other organizations can consider implementing a one-on-one conversation approach with more frequent one-on-ones. And with that, let's go make work better every day. Bye.